Rick Stein, as we head towards the winter solstice, I think that's what we call it here, and it's the summer solstice, just that whole total polar opposites of seasons. How does that affect a chef in the UK?
Well, I mean, you get used to it quite quickly, but I must say, leaving London, Cornwall, as I did like 10 days ago, just beginning to warm up nicely, thinking about nice summer dishes, lots of salads, maybe even in the UK a bit of eating outdoors, and arriving here in winter, it was a bit, But the thing about winter in Melbourne or Sydney, in Australia generally, is that when you get good days, they are lovely.
Yeah.
The light is so clear, so clean, the colours are so bright.
And the fish dishes you've chosen to present at this year's Good Food and Wine Show?
Well, I mean, I sort of tried to give them a sort of warm autumnal feeling about them, so they're quite substantial. I've got a bereade from Provence.
What's a bereade?
Well, it's like a fish stew, but it's made with lots of garlic mayonnaise and a bit of saffron. So although it's a dish from a hot climate, I think it works quite well in the winter because there's lots of sort of garlic mayo and they're very creamy, probably a bit fattening, but lovely to eat.
And I'm sorry that this interview is getting a bit chefy for the people watching at home, but it was things like bereade and bouillabaisse. There would be very specific fish that in the old country you should use in there. Can you apply our seafood?
I don't think it matters too much, but I think probably bouillabaisse is more important to get the right fish. But bereade is so rich in garlic and so rich in olive oil that it doesn't really matter. And I'm using John Dory, some local prawns, big prawns, and some flathead. But the essential flavour really comes from the garlic, a bit of saffron, some fennel, flavour of fennel, olive oil, that sort of thing. So I think it's absolutely fine.
And are you making inroads, Rick Stein? I mean, you have been such an ardent advocate of seafood and of cooking it in a simple way for many, many years. Are you making inroads? Are you seeing, your message filtering through?
I think so. Yes, Alastair, I do. I mean, I think over the years it's slow because I think people have a sort of aversion to fish. A lot of people, and certainly the UK has always been averse to fish. We'll eat fish and chips any day. I think it's actually a bit the same here. I mean, people say we love our seafood. Yeah, they love prawns and all that, and they do, but they don't. I don't think they wholeheartedly embrace fish cookery any more than we do, back home, or indeed even New Zealand. I'm probably going to be hung, drawn, and quartered for saying this, but I think when you go out to eat, unless it's fish and chips, a minority of people, real foodies, love to go and eat fish, but most people will go for steak, pizzas, burgers, anything but chops, So we have to fight. Us fish lovers have to really fight to get people to eat more fish. Everybody else.
What's on your iPod right now?
In my iPod right now, I'm listening to an opera. I went to see it in London. Right? It's a Verdi opera called Falstaff. The thing about it, I saw it at the Royal Opera House, was they had a real horse on stage called Rupert, and he stole the show. And there's Falstaff sitting on Rupert. And Sarah, my wife, said, looks a bit like David, the director.
Rick Stein, will you go and get cooking, please?
Great.